Blog Talk Radio.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. RealitySpirituality. It's a new experience. RealitySpirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. RealitySpirituality. You got a question for RLN? RealitySpirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. RealitySpirituality. Oh, now we get real. Yeah, it's time to get down. Yeah, you gonna feel good now. Real good. Now, that's what I'm talking about. Time to get real.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm going to have to take a really quick, short break. I'm having some issues technical. I'll be back in less than a minute.
Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. It's a new experience. RealitySpirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. RealitySpirituality. You got a question for RLN? RealitySpirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby.
Okay, boy, oh boy, you never know what's going to happen technically. Welcome to the show. Welcome to Reality Spirituality. I'm your host, Rebecca Lynn Norrington, and thank you so much for being here. What a morning. You're not going to believe it. I have a home studio, and both of my computers in the home studio weren't working. I actually drove 40 minutes to a downtown location where I have another setup, like a backup studio. So I just got here. Hold on a second. Let me take a couple of deep breaths. Woo-wee. Okay, back. The reason why, and it would have been very easy for me to just cancel the show, but the reason why I had to go on the air today, I have a lot of people in the queue. Thank you so much for being in the queue wanting to talk to me. But I had to talk. I had to have a show today, especially because of what's going on in the world, what's going on in this country. I just felt like I needed to speak what I was inspired to say. And I knew, if you've listened to the show's going to be, in August, almost 4 years. Can you believe that? And if you've listened to the show, I hardly ever, 99% of the time, never talked about social issues, current issues, what's going on in the news, only because I know, for me, that what I can't control, I do not really concern myself with things that I have no control over. Things that happen in the world, things that happen in this country, I don't have control over. But what I do have control over is my personal vibration, my response, my behavior, my words. But I wanted to share, I needed to speak. I was inspired to speak about this mass shooting that went on in the church this week. But before I do, let me just say, this show is about happiness. This show, the foundation of this show, is how to experience more happiness. And it seems like it's a little, how you talk about mass murder and happiness. Well, just listen, and I'm gonna let you know how and what I've observed. And again, this is my opinion. These are my feelings. This is what I'm really inspired to share with my audience. This show, Reality Spirituality, is about, for me, I've gone through so many ups and downs, just life, all of us, and I can only speak for myself. Ups and downs and ups and downs, and I was in a place where, trust me, audience, if someone wronged me, or if someone did something to me on purpose and I thought it was unjust or unjust or unjust, unjust, right? Hello? Unjust. Trust me, I could hold a grudge. I could get on this revenge kick. It was part of who I was. It was so deeply ingrained, and I was listening to some commentary on the radio. I listen to talk radio, but I'm very choosy about who I listen to. But I listen to a lot of the commentators talk about this shooting in this boy that was 21 years old. This person, 21 years old, walks into a church and kills 9 innocent people. And I'm listening to these people talk about it, and this is why I had to speak about this today. There was a report and actually recordings of the family members, some of the family members that were in court yesterday, or I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, family members of the people that were killed, the people that were murdered, the people that were massacred in cold blood. And if you, I'm just assuming that you know the story. A boy walks into a church, 21 years old. The crazy thing is he sits there for almost an hour in this prayer group and then murders 9 people, innocent people. And this is the thing. These people from this church that knew the people that were murdered came to court, and there were people on the radio was even saying how odd it was that the judge allowed statements. Usually statements aren't made at bail hearings, and this was a bail hearing. Anyway, regardless of that, family members, friends made statements, and every one of those statements that these people made about their family members, their friends being killed, their church community, every single one of them said that they forgive this shooter, this murderer. Every single one of them spoke about forgiveness and asking God to forgive him. I can't judge him. God can only judge him. I forgive him. Now, which I can understand that place. Now, the people on the radio, the talk show hosts, were all of them, well, I can't do that. I couldn't get to that point. Good for them taking the high road. They're better people than I am. Nobody got that I listened to. Nobody actually listened to about 3 different shows. Nobody got the point that they could forgive and they could look at it the same way that the relatives of the murdered victims felt. And this has happened more than once in this country, and I'm sure it's happened more than once, because if it's happened once, it's happened before. There are a few examples that I would like to share. And again, this show is about racism, forgiveness, response, because all we have, audience, all we have is our response to what happens. All we can do, in other words, we can't stop. We cannot stop what's happened, but we can respond to it. And let me just share with you a couple of real life examples, other than the ones I just shared about forgiving someone that is murdered. I've talked about this more than once, but there is a mass murderer. I think he was from Washington. His name was Gary Ridgway. Gary Ridgway was one of the most written about serial killers in the history of the United States, and I believe I'm guessing at the number 70 to 80 women, and most of them were prostitutes, but they were women. I'm not going to say most of them were prostitutes, but a lot of them were prostitutes, and he murdered women. And this happened in the 70s, maybe 60s. Don't quote me at dates because I'm really bad at dates. But he murdered over 70 women. And it took almost 20 years to catch this person. And when they finally when they caught him after his trial, and he was convicted of all of these murders, he was convicted. And then there was a time where the family members came and were able to speak to him directly. Of course, there were a lot of people in the courtroom that just spewed all of this hate, all of this anger, all of this frustration. I hope you burn in hell, Gary Ridgway. You could Google it. In fact, there's about a minute and a half of what I'm talking about. Family members just speaking to this murderer, the serial killer. He's a serial killer. And just getting out all of their feelings and all of their frustrations and all of their anger at this man who murdered their sister or their wife or their brother or their mother or their friend. And the Gary Ridgway sat there motionless, emotionless, with no effect, no remorse on his face. He sat there stone cold until a man stood up and he said, he actually addressed him as Mr. Ridgway. He says, I am not going to, I can't be angry. I can't agree to what everybody else burn in hell, Gary Ridgway. I can't agree to any of that. Go on YouTube and just Gary Ridgway and the last. It's about a minute and a half. And anyway, so let me just finish with the story. And the man got up and he says, you have made it hard for me to live up to what I believe, to live up to what God has taught me, and that is to forgive. He says, I forgive you, Mr. Ridgway. I forgive you. And at that moment, this serial killer, with having years and years of murdering women without any kind of conscience, sat through a trial without any remorse, broke down and began to cry. That is the power of forgiveness. And it was so it just struck me, and I'll never forget it. And then there's another example, which is even just as powerful, if not more powerful. Google this also. There's a community, an Amish community, and years ago, I don't know if it was the 70s or the 80s, some man went into a school and shot up children, murdered children, like what do they call it? They assassinated them, lined them up against the wall, and shot children. I believe the oldest was 9 or 10 or 11 years old, all the way down. I don't remember how many children he killed. But as soon as this man was caught, and this was in an Amish community, I think it was Pennsylvania. You know what? My facts are just whatever. The story is true. This community, this Amish community, it's almost overwhelming to even say, got together and they went over to this man that murdered their children. They went over to his family's home and offered love and said that they forgive. They even went to his funeral. See, this is the point that I'm making. Me, you, my dear audience, we have a responsibility. We have a responsibility to either respond with hate, respond with anger, respond with things that that are going to, in other words, we have the responsibility to either respond in a way that's going to make the world a better place, make the world a more loving place, a more peaceful place, or we can respond with anger. We can respond with, I want justice. We can respond with, I want the man dead. You can respond any way you want. And let me say, I'm not making a judgment on any of the responses, because I even tried to think about if someone murdered, my son. How would I? That's a test. How would I respond? What I would like to say is I'm just offering that either you want to make this world a better place. You cannot respond with anger and with hate, because with anger and hate, that is exactly what this person did that murdered these innocent people in the church. That was anger. That was hate. That was that energy. And so responding with that same kind of energy, how is that assisting, changing, offering a different way to live in this world? There's been a lot of, especially in the last year, shootings, police shootings, and there's been a lot of different ways people respond. Some people respond with rioting, anger, protest. And my question is this, and I'm not saying which way is right or which way is wrong, but I'm saying how are you going to change the world? How are you, my dear audience? Look in the mirror. You are the only one that can change the world. So how are you responding? How are you responding? What is your response to all of this? Now, trust me, I'm coming from a place where kill them all, string them up, slow death. I get that. But look at the bigger picture. And let me say this. Racism, this is my opinion, is a surface issue. This quote unquote, they're racist, people are racist, there's racist, this country is racist. That's a surface issue. You know what's underneath all of that? And anytime you want to clean your home, if you're just cleaning around your couch, or you're just cleaning around the table, or cleaning around the refrigerator and not really moving and getting to what's underneath all of this. And what's underneath this quote racism is what needs to be addressed. Because addressing a racism without addressing the foundation and without going underneath and knowing what's underneath, then what? That's not really cleaning. That's not really getting it out. That's not really a solution. And let me tell you, this is my opinion, let me tell you what I think is underneath all of this racism, quote racism. Yes, there's people that don't like other people because of their color of their skin or their culture, or people in the Middle East. It's because of the religion. Who knows why? But underneath all of it is because there's no sense of unity. There's no sense that we are all here. We are all here, and we were all connected to each other. It's like looking out into space. You got your planets, you got your Venus, you got your Mars, you got your Mercury, you got your Pluto, all of those planets. And then there's the planets say, listen to me, the planets are talking now, and the planets say, no, I'm not a part of this universe. I'm not a part. I'm a planet separate from the universe. And see, this disconnect, this is what's underneath all of it, this disconnect that we are separate entities. Someone else is looking out at other people and thinking that they are separate, and thinking that this isn't that we're not united. When I say united, there's no unity here. We're all people walking around in our separate little worlds. And I'm here to say that we are all connected. And when I forget that I am connected to all, to the world, to the universe, when I disconnect, that is the issue. Racism, let me say this. These people that commit these crimes, but listen, Gary Ridgway, whatever, psychopath, all of it, psychopath, racist, I hate black people, all of it, all of these people that are doing that, underneath all of it is a simple, deep-rooted feeling of disconnect and unhappiness. Now, when I talk about happiness, I'm not talking about just skipping through the tulips. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a foundation of connection, knowing that I am connected to the universe, knowing that I am the universe, knowing that I am a physical extension of the universe. I am one with the universe. Nobody that commits crimes, nobody that murders, nobody feels that connection. That is the root of all of this behavior. So when I talk about being, happiness specialist, happiness is really, this connection is really at the root of everything. You cannot kill 9 people and be happy. It's impossible. You can't be a serial killer and be happy. It's impossible. So at the root of all of this, what's underneath all of this is that feeling of disconnect. Now, what can you and I do about it? What can you do about it, my dear audience? What can I do about it? Well, this is what I can do about it, because I cannot stop what is happening. I cannot force somebody. I cannot force somebody not to be a racist. I can't force somebody to look at a certain race with love and acceptance. But let me tell you what that community of South Carolina, Charleston, did. That community, I looked at the interviews from the governor, from the people in the community. They came together. There is no separate divide. They came together as a community, offering support, offering love, offering embracing, offering empathy with the people that went through that. They came together as a community. What I can do as an individual, what I will do as an individual, the only thing I have control over is accepting, is in my everyday moment, within my everyday moments, look at people, express to people, greet people, accept people for who they are, regardless of what they look like, regardless of they're living on the street or living in the boardroom. It's about treating people and seeing people the same. And that's my rant. That's my inspired message. I had to. It was almost too much for me not to say anything about it. I have a full queue of people that want to speak with me, and I love it. People call in. Let me go right to the callers. Area code 512. You are live on Reality Spirituality. What's your first name?
Hi there. This is Julia.
Hi, Julia. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Great show, great topics. I think that's amazing, too, all those people, the community coming together. And I don't know. It's a tragedy. You know, I actually don't listen to news a lot just because I don't like to surround myself with that. It's good to be aware, obviously, and know what's going on in the world. I found it very interesting that, he came in for an hour, I think they said, and sat in there for an hour. Mm-hmm. Just, what was he, who knows what was going on in his mind, but, a lot of different things run through my mind about what he could have been thinking about. Was he asking for forgiveness for what he was about to do? Did he have any, remorse for what was about to happen? Was he second-guessing it, questioning himself? I don't know. Only he knows, and obviously God and guides. It's beyond me.
Yeah, it's really difficult. One of the things that I've had to really trust and let go of is knowing why and how things happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I can even say that in my own life. I mean, listen, I've been in a situation where, why did that happen? And then maybe a year later, 6 months later, okay, that makes sense. Mm-hmm. So it's not really my job to understand why something is happening, but I definitely know that everything that happens is some kind of divine plan, is some kind of order to all of it. Maybe just for this community to give us an example of how of a different way to respond. I mean, that was huge for me. I was just loving that. We have another way to respond. We don't have to respond in a way of hate and anger. We can respond in another way, just like the Amish community, just giving us a different way to respond. Choices.
Yes, and that perpetuates it.
Exactly.
If you respond with hate and anger, it's that's what's gonna keep happening.
That's right. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that was my point today. I made that point. That was my point today. What's going on in your life, my dear?
You did. Thank you. There's lots, of course. If you could provide any direction, I don't know, do you need a specific question, or is there anything that you can just tap into that maybe my spirit guides or guides want me to know?
Yeah, give me a question.
Okay.
In other words, let me just kind of narrow it down, because for me, being specific is really, really helpful. And listening to you talk, that helps me too. Kind of gives me an idea. But specifically, give me a challenge that you're experiencing.
Okay. A challenge right now, I guess, that I'm experiencing would be knowing that I have met I believe is my twin flame or kindred spirit, however you want to use that term, but the man for me. And I found out recently that I thought things were going to start going down the path of us, maybe starting more than just a social friendship, but actually like doing maybe one-on-one stuff and finally getting there to the romance part. But I found out recently that he's going a different direction. So I guess I'm wondering what if it still just needs to unfold, if there's someone else coming in, or what? Yeah.
How old are you?
I'm 38.
Oh, you're still a youngster.
I'm young, yes.
You're still a whippersnapper,
Yes. I think my energy is much younger, though.
That's good. Young energy is the best. I love young energy. Young energy. Young energy means you're just open, and you're open to new ideas. You're open to more. You're just young. When you're young, these little kids walking around 2 years old, 3 years old. They're curious about all of it before they got to a point where they're afraid of everything.
Yeah.
Or life affects them. So that's a great place to be.
Mm-hmm.
I feel. Let me just say this. One of the things that I've learned with myself also especially with this looking for or wanting or, just desiring or, excited about a soulmate relationship and all of that, and then it doesn't work out. Number one, let me just hit you with this.
Okay.
I don't know if you've listened to the show a lot, but one of the things that subtracts from happiness, one of the things that really puts a wrench in everything is having any kind of expectations.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that includes relationships. And what I mean that is, see, when you were talking, you said, okay, I really thought he was my soulmate, kindred spirits, twin flames, however you want to word it.
Mhm.
Not knowing is really for me, is a preferred way to live.
Mhm.
And you don't know. You really you can want to know, but you really don't know. And my question is, were you disappointed in any way when you discovered that, okay, this is going in a different direction?
A little
bit,
yeah.
Did the energy of disappointment hit you in any way?
Yeah. Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
so yet with that,
I
still have faith.
Faith that what? That he's the one?
Well, that maybe things still need to unfold. And I'm just,
Okay.
I'm not putting anything on hold. Mm-hmm. My life is not on hold. If a guy comes up to me and I think he's fantastic, I'm definitely, going to go out on a date with him. And then wherever that goes. But I really, energetically, I'm very intuitive, and I could feel that energy. So that's why the part of me is I have so much confirmation and so much faith in that and that connection that, there was a little bit of the disappointment just because I was like, okay, well, I thought that it was going to be soon. I was feeling the energy of it, us beginning something soon.
I'm just feeling there's just so much here, and so because I'm let me just give you my example, because if I'm one of the things that I really, really had to learn, and this goes with guys, this goes with situations, this goes with anything, the energy of knowing, or having expectations. And listen, I've been in a situation where I met a guy. This is just a business thing, and I met a guy, and I was so surprised at his connections. Oh my goodness, This guy knew David Letterman personally. Okay, I listen. One of my things is, why aren't I supposed to be on the OWN network? I mean, I could feel it. I have a great show. I know I could do it. And so now I got all of this going. I got all of this going in my head. This guy's right next to me, physical therapy, okay? What are the odds that you meet somebody in physical therapy? It wasn't even the day that I was going to have my appointment. I meet this guy. He starts talking. I mean, an old friend. He's in the business. He knows he was a manager for a lot of music groups, very popular, very well-known music groups, on and on and on. And I'm like pitching. I got my book. I got my show. I got my videos. I sent him all of my crap. I just knew. I could feel it. And guess what? Nothing happened. And I'm saying that because, and that taught me a really big. Listen, it's happened more than once in a lot of different types of occasions. A lot of different. I meet a lot of people that are in the spiritual quote business. And I know that if I'm on that stage and I could speak here and I could speak there, I just know. I have a lot of people that I know. And guess what? The universe is still in charge. I can think I know. It's really not me knowing. It's my ego tricking me that I know.
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you something. I don't know anything. And now I'm comfortable with not knowing anything. I don't know the plan. Yeah, I can feel that it's going to be really, I could feel it. Oh, this has to be a fit. I don't know crap. So really not knowing, I understand what you're talking about, intuitive, and you can feel the energy. I get it. But you still don't know the plan.
Mhm.
Does that make any kind of sense?
It does. It does make sense. I still don't. I mean, there's so many variations of how this story would end. You know, it could be we do end up together, we don't, and he was just the one before the one, just for me to work on whatever I needed to release. You know, energetic. We didn't do anything, but I did go through a lot of self-examination and awareness on my thoughts and my feelings about him, not even being in a relationship, but how I am and how my emotions and feelings are when I'm attracted to someone, and what that means and what that brings up for me. So it could have just been that. It's possible. I was just able to navigate that without actually being in a relationship and heal whatever needed to be healed. That's possible too.
Let me say this because I'm this healing thing. I am healing. Well, this is words. Listen, words are so limiting. Words are very limiting, and so you say healing, and I'm thinking there's nothing to be healed. There's some things that need to be exposed. And one of the things is any kind of thoughts, any kind of dwelling on future moments. For me, just do not work. I cannot get into what's going to possibly happen because, quite frankly, dwelling on the future, of course, dwelling on the past, regardless, is subtracting from happiness in this moment, and you're not in the moment. Being in the moment means that you're experiencing the moment without any expectations, without any judgments, and you're experiencing the moment. And all of it is this wonderful, wonderful place to be. So there's no thought about what's going to happen in the next moment. There's no thought about the relationship getting expanding or growing or evolving. There's no thought about it because it doesn't even exist. It's actually a waste of your time. Yeah. Right.
No, that makes sense. I know. I'm all about living in the moment, and even with this, you're totally right.
And let me say this. One of the things, this ego, and I'm not hating on the ego. The ego has a function, and the ego's function is, this is my opinion, and the ego's function for me is for me, the ego is 5 years old. It's just doing whatever it wants to do, and just out there. I would not put a 5-year-old behind the wheel of a car. The second thing is the ego is there for me to make sure that I take a shower every day. I put on, clothes. I don't put on paisleys and checks. I don't put on, a black feather hat with a purple shawl. That's what my ego is for. But let me say something. This getting into the future and even it's a distraction. It's actually a well-devised plan and distraction that the ego loves. Oh, let's sit and think and dwell about how we're going to get together and how we're going to stay together and how this is going to be. It is so much baggage that so much, for me, I can't even get into it. It's not one of my favorite things to do anymore.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's what it is kind of like daydreaming. Again, my words are limiting. Daydreaming, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I mean, if that's how you like to spend your time, but maybe that's the lesson. What are you feeling? Are you with me or again me?
I'm with you, my friend. I'm with you. No, it is. It was just a lot of real insight, going within as you're talking about, and I say this all the time to my clients, like being in the present moment, meditation, how important it is. And it is, and I know that, and I feel that when I am in the present moment. And it's true, just what you're saying about that. And it's a nice reminder. It is. It's a nice reminder. And then I just started to go into what is it really that I'm asking? What is it really that I'm wanting to know in this moment about the relationship?
You want certainty. You want certainty.
Yeah, and I'm not in control. And
I think we talked before about certainty and also being comfortable with uncertainty. Mm-hmm. That is really, really huge, being comfortable with uncertainty. Let me tell you something, Julia. Let me tell you something. From now on, from this day, it happened a few months ago. I don't even remember. Maybe it was a year ago. I have given up being certain of what the hell is going to happen to me tomorrow. I have no clue. Even if I have a plane ticket, I'm on my way. I got a plane ticket in August. I'm on my way to New York. I have my plane ticket. I go to the airport. I have my bags packed. I'm not even certain if I'm going to get on that plane.
Yeah.
That's how living with, being comfortable with uncertainty looks like, feels like. It's being uncertain of, and being okay with all of it.
Yeah.
What if I get to the plane and I don't have a good feeling and I don't want to get on the plane? Who knows?
Mhm. It could be delayed. It could be anything. It's always it's being comfortable, being okay, and actually living with this energy of uncertainty. It's actually what's the word? Nourishing, embracing. What is it when you fertilizing? I guess what I want to say. I want to be uncertain. I mean, that's our nature, uncertainty. Mm-hmm. And it does feel nice, and I love being in that moment. For some reason, I guess this relationship is.
Well, listen, the universe knows what to throw at it. The universe knows our carrot. Come on. Listen, I'm a girl. Oh, romance. Oh, happily ever. Come on, they know what to throw at me to get off track. It's easy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
They know the carrot. So I'm going to go to my next caller, but I love your call, and I love when you call in. You're very insightful, like you said, intuitive, and it's just reminders of maybe somebody else looking out from the outside looking in. So what I see is just being, forget this certain. You don't know. Stay in the present moment. Yeah, soulmate, fine. If you have one, fine. If you don't have one, fine. Who cares? Let the universe drive. Sit in the back seat, right?
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Stop trying to grab a hold of that steering wheel, honey.
Yeah. Who's driving? Me. Nope.
Yeah, I remember you're driving. Good for you. Drive into another wall. No.
No.
I'm joking with you.
I don't want to crash.
No. Yeah, so you don't know anything. Come on. Stop acting like you know, and stop acting like you want to know. That's right.
Okay.
I love when you call in. Call in anytime. I love it.
Okay. Love you. Thank you so much.
Love you too.
God bless.
Ooh, what a great call. Okay, going to area code 646. What's your first name? You're live on Reality Spirituality. Hi. Hello? Hello? Area code 646. Going once.
Hello?
Finally. Hi. What did you do? You put the phone down, or anyway, doesn't matter. Hi, what's your first name?
Tony, how you doing today?
I'm doing well. Hi, Tony. What's up?
Yeah, I was calling to I guess, get some insight onto whether to pursue a move to Panama and what that would. It's funny because I just heard your last conversation about like the not knowing, so I was thinking about that as well. But I was just curious to know if a move to Panama would be a good thing for me right now, or should I be looking at someplace else?
It's interesting. Let me just say this, my dear Tony. What's really interesting, I love it when people call in and they really want to know the future, and they really want to know what's going to be good, and they really want to know. And this is what I do know. Let me just share with you what I know. And this is very, very important, and I appreciate people calling in with these questions. What I know that with evidence in my life, with evidence, continual evidence, over and over and over again evidence, I know that whatever the universe has planned for me is going to happen. I cannot slow it down. I cannot speed it up. I cannot stop it, and I cannot. I cannot make it happen. When I was talking to Julia earlier, the caller earlier, one of the things that is the hardest for me to let go of was this idea of control, or having control, or wanting control. This wanting to control is like an epidemic. It is let me use a powerful word. It's a sickness that has been created, has been introduced to us as a young child. Having control over anything is an illusion. What's going to happen to you, where you're going to move, what you're going to do, it's all going to happen, and you don't have excuse me, but you don't have a choice over it, even though it feels like you do or you don't. And every place that you land, every experience that you have is going to be there for your betterment, is going to be there to teach you, to show you, to get you to another level of awareness or enlightenment. Everything that happens, whether you go to Panama or you stay here, it doesn't matter. It's time to let go of trying to figure out and allow the universe to work its magic. I tweeted out something, and I'm going to go back to you, and I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. I tweeted out something the other day, and it was, what was it? It was, I'm letting go of my to-do list. I'm eliminating my to-do list, and I'm exchanging it for I'm inspired to list. If we practiced more and more getting into what we're inspired to do, if we really practice going deep within and saying, okay, how do I feel? Does this feel like a fit? You know what's a fit. If you put your foot into a tight shoe, you know if it feels good or not. So it's really getting away from the practice of going deep and following your intuition and following your inspiration. And so my question to you is, what are you inspired to do?
What am I inspired to do is to be creative, to help people with things like, natural health cures. I mean, as far as just like, I see a lot of people, I guess, ignorant of certain things about their body. And if they knew, the certain things they can, like, save tons of dough and, have less trauma done to their bodies, as well as be creative with writing and help working with children and things like that.
Okay, so are you a nutritionalist? You're talking about organic foods and assisting people with, in other words, educating people with healthier ways to eat and or live. Is that what because
Yeah, that's one of the things that, because I've seen, say for instance, in the case of certain chronic diseases like cancer, a lot of people opt for the surgeries and the
right.
As just because that's what they're told, and they don't know that there's other
options. So you're here. So you're here to educate other people and provide them with other options and other choices. You're here to share with what you've learned. You're here to share your wisdom in health, getting healthy, having disease. You're here to share that, correct?
I mean, I would like to. It's just, of course, it's not that easy because I guess the way that everything is structured, nobody listens to you unless you have that doctor thing after your name, So.
Well, I understand what you're saying, and that's I totally get that. And sometimes you might have some people that don't listen because that don't listen because of that, and not. But let me say this honestly. Let me really say this. You have a lot of you're okay. So we know about the nutrition and health, and a lot of people aren't going to listen. What are you? You said something about writing. What are you doing now to contribute? In other words, to contribute or not contribute, to share with what you know. What are you doing now? Actively doing now? Are you writing? Do you have a blog?
No, I used to be a part of a blog talk show, but everybody kind of like ended up having to do their things. But when I did do the show, we discussed topics of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
As far as writing, I mean, I've written a lot of things. I just haven't, gotten it out. So.
Okay, let me get really specific because I'm feeling you and you're. There's really no focus. In other words, focus meaning like there's a difference between a spotlight, like a spotlight, and then a real laser light. So I'm feeling the spotlight around you. You've got a lot of things on your mind, a lot of things. And there's also a laser focus. So what have you done? Have you done anything to share your wisdom with anyone, even if it's a conversation, this week? So that's either yes or no.
Yes.
Okay.
I've done that. Mm-hmm.
And what was it?
I shared some videos as well as gave some information. Someone.
Share some videos. How?
Sent it to individuals, emails, and spoke to them about it. Individuals dealing with some of those chronic diseases I was mentioning.
Okay. All right. Well, this is my feeling about. You have so much to offer and so much to give and so much to share, because quite frankly, you came off and you said, you want to help people, and honestly, yes, helping people, yes, I get it, helping people. Before I can help people, guess what? I got to help that person in the mirror. I have to be crystal clear on what my focus is. Crystal clear. Now, what is your focus? And so this is the thing. I talked to Julia earlier about being a distraction. And you don't even have to do anything huge or big. When I say that is, it's like there's something specific that can be done every week. Listen to me, every week. You write out a blog. You post an article. You post your thoughts for the week. Right. So you're getting something out. So you're doing something. You're getting something out once a week. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yes.
And in other words, you want to get this information out, and you just do it little by little by little. You said Blog Talk Radio had a show. great to have a show. It's great to share. But it's something about every single day, whatever your focus is, whatever you want to get out, you express it every single way, even if it's having a conversation. But you said something that kind of tweaked my interest, because it's about looking out at people and seeing what's wrong with their eating habits, or what's wrong with the world. And a lot of people don't have to take the traditional route; they can take another route. In my opinion, in my humble opinion, that way of thinking is looking out into the world and finding something wrong, or finding something that needs to be changed. And the only thing that needs to be changed in this world is that person in the mirror. The only thing that needs to be adjusted or tweaked is the person in the mirror. I used to go out and look at and say, wow, look at how unhappy they are. I know if they knew this, then they wouldn't be so unhappy. And what I've learned is that I can't look at other people and find something wrong with other people. I can look at other people and know that they're on their own personal journey, and they will get to their own destination in their own time. And I know that, just like you. So my advice would be, no more focusing on other people. Let's start focusing on Tony. Let's start focusing on what you can do to in other words, to open up and to allow the universe to guide you, and for you to trust that the universe is guiding you.
Okay.
And so the question about going to another country or having another job is really irrelevant. The question is really looking in the mirror and saying, okay, how do I get to a place where I know that I'm going to be able to express all of the things that I've learned? How am I going to be able to share with other people what I've learned? And quite frankly, Tony, you don't know if you're going to help one person or you're going to help 0 people. It's just you expressing yourself. It's just you sharing with just sharing you. Forget the fact about, well, I want to, help 1 million people. Listen, that's because I used to. I could help 1 million people in this world. They need to hear what I have to say. But that's just ego talking. It's just a distraction. Let's really look at Tony and figure out how can you share more of you.
All right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So how are you going to share more of you today?
I guess I can write something.
There you go. And let's take these words out, guests. Probably think, I'm going to write something today.
Okay.
And that is your question, my dear. In fact, I'm getting chills now. That is your question. Write it down that you ask yourself every single day. How can I share more of me? And that's it. And don't look at how much you're sharing, how long you're writing. It could be, listen, I tweet out, I don't even tweet every day, maybe a day or every other day. One lousy sentence. You only have 144 characters. One sentence, that's what I share. Thank you, universe. Make it easy on yourself. Stop putting all this pressure. How can I share myself today? And then tomorrow, how can I share more of myself today? How simple is that?
That's pretty simple.
How does that feel to you? How does that feel in your soul?
Oh, that feels pretty good. I mean, I guess I've been having I've been feeling a little bit of a, I don't know if you call it fatalist, just, attitude or what have you. But, it's kind of like you said, A lot of things you kind of like look out at the world and you see a lot of different things that's wrong, but, you know, the only thing you can really change is yourself. So that's pretty sound advice right there.
And let me tell you this, when you change yourself, when you change, when I say change, is in other words, you don't really change yourself. What you're doing is you're being more of yourself. There's nothing to change. There's just something to let go of it, just to be more of Tony, to be more of Tony. That's all the world wants, is for you to be all of you. And you're a light guy. You're a light guy. There's, you know, you're very, you know, I feel a serious energy around you, and you lighten up, lighten your ass up. Yeah, it's not that serious. This life is not that serious. It really isn't. And the universe needs you to be light. You can't really assist or share when you're heavy and there's something wrong and it's serious. Oh my God. My son, don't tell him, I hope he's not listening. He never listens to the show. My son's 30 years old, and I remember last year he came to visit. He lives in New York. I'm in California. He came to visit, and oh my goodness, everything in my house was wrong. I wasn't recycling enough. I wasn't I was eating the wrong things. All of it. He found everything wrong with me. And all I could do was, and I wasn't stretching enough, and all I could do was laugh, because I know that whenever this is another point, whenever you're in anybody else's business, you're actually subtracting from your own happiness. You can't be in the world's business. Let these people go. And just be more of who you are, and it will evolve naturally. You don't have to make anything happen. But the more of who you are, the more you are who you are, the more you share with who you are, things will start falling into place. There's no planning. You're not the plan. You just have to be who you are. And stay out of everybody's business, even if they're eating Taco Bell. Get it? And you don't look at there's something wrong. Don't they know? No. That's another distraction.
Gotcha.
Where are you? Are you in New York?
Yes, I am.
I love the horns blowing in New York.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's like New York has a sound. It definitely has a sound.
Yes, it does. It has a sound and a smell and a feel. I love visiting New York. Visiting. I love it. It's just you know, I wouldn't want to live in the city. It's just a lot of energy. It's a lot of energy right there. I just need a little bit more peaceful energy.
Yeah, which is funny, because that I guess that was the impetus for my call, because I'm like, was I supposed to basically be here since I'm here, or an opportunity had kind of like been presented where I could be in a few other places, and I was just trying to ascertain, because I know people say, well, make that just listen to your intuition, and sometimes you don't know. I don't know if it's intuition or it's my mind thinking or it's my heart thinking. I don't know where the difference is. I mean, so think with your heart, is that the intuition? Think with your head, is that the intuition? I don't necessarily know all the time. Sometimes I do know, but then sometimes I guess when you think about stuff so many times or so much, sometimes I think you kind of like lose the effect of intuition, if that makes any sense. You don't know.
Perfect sense. It makes perfect sense. And see, what a great point. How do you know the difference between intuition and these thoughts and these? Listen, one of the things. First of all, let me just say this: thoughts there's no such thing as thinking that our thoughts are thinking, in my opinion, is wrong. Thinking requires creating something new. Thinking is creating the light bulb. Thinking is something new, creating the light bulb, the airplane, the telephone. That's or new program. That's thinking. This other stuff is just recycled thoughts. And you can tell the difference. Let me give you a good example, a perfect example of what I used to use, and now I got it down, and it's all only because I practice. Like anything else you practice, this is how I know the difference, okay? The difference is when the universe speaks, when your intuition speaks, when your sixth sense speaks, when you're inspired, when you feel that, you actually breathe out, and there's a calmness. There's a calmness. The other stuff, the other thoughts, there's a round and around and around and around. It's a constant. It's endless. It never stops. It's endless. It never stops. It never ends. There's this thought, and there's another thought about it, and there's another thought about that thought, and it keeps going and going and going. And that's a busy. It's just busy, 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 with no direction, with in my opinion, no purpose other than to confuse and to dilute. In other words, to keep you off the track. Listen, this ego, these thoughts that go around. The ego doesn't want me peaceful. That's a fact. The ego wants me, and I used to say this a lot, wants me to feel bad about as many things possible for as long as possible. I'm not hating on the ego. I'm just saying that in my opinion, that's its purpose. I'm supposed to feel bad. I'm supposed to feel confused. I'm supposed to feel uncertain. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to choose. That's not the universe speaking to you. So when you kind of get an idea, and this is what I do. I've said it before, but I'm going to say it again. I visualize the ego or all these thoughts in my head about, I'm not doing enough. I should have written more. I didn't edit my book today. There's whatever the crap the ego talks about. I separate it. I let it do its thing. I put it on a stage. And I pretend that it's performing. So it's really helpful because you are not your thoughts, my dear. These thoughts that you're having, it's not your identity. It's not you. You're not having the thoughts. You're separate from your thoughts. So you can distinguish which ones are, round and around and around, confusion, don't know, decision, I can't decide, or I called her earlier, is he my soulmate, is he not my soulmate? All of that, that's not universal. That's not intuition, in my opinion. It's there to keep you, quote, stuck in the same kind of round and around and around and around on a hamster wheel. Give me another one.
Wow. Yeah, because I kind of felt like, life is about, finding the right perception. And if you can find the right perception, you can navigate through it. And, if you don't have the right one, simple things can, keep you locked down. And, so I guess I was looking to, find that right perception. And what you just said kind of helped me, I guess, move on a couple of different levels because, again, I felt even when I don't know if you mentioned it, but I kind of got the, I guess, intuition that you did. For some reason I was thinking about, like, breathing. I don't know if you mentioned something about breathing, but, I think I've been, like, experiencing, like, shallow breath, which I kind of attribute to being kind of in survival mode. And I think that when I find the right mode to be in, like, my breath will...
relax on its own. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I think like now when I breathe, it feels kind of painful, just because I feel like again, I don't have the right perspective. I haven't like reached that yet, but it feels painful because again, I was looking at like all the things that are going on and I guess
getting caught up. You're being distracted. It's actually like a drug addict that they use drugs to be distractions, food to be distractions, shopping to distraction. It's just distraction. Are you a football fan?
I watch football. Yep. Uh-huh.
Okay. Do you remember what Aaron Rodgers told everybody last year when everybody was down on the Green Bay Packers? Do you remember what Aaron Rodgers said? It's really pertinent to this conversation.
No, I don't.
Five letters. He just looked into the camera. The reporters are talking about what's wrong with his season, what's wrong with him, what's wrong with his team, and he looked right into the reporters and he said, "I got 5 letters for you, everybody. 5 letters." And the word he spelled out sent a fire going through the whole football community. It was really good. He said, RELAX. And I'm telling you the same thing, my dear Tony. Relax. You don't have to work this hard. You really don't. Serious, relax, breathe. The only thing that the universe wants you to do is focus on just sharing something, even if it's a sentence or even if it's 2 sentences. And I don't care if you send it out to one person or you keep it to yourself. Just write out something that you want to share, your wisdom, every single day. That's it.
Okay.
Isn't that easy?
That sounds pretty easy.
Yeah, and let's get over this. This gotta do. Listen, the universe. You are supported by the universe in every moment. You're not here by yourself. You have support. Picture you holding your hand. You're holding the universe's hand, and the universe has your back. And everything you do and everything you don't do, you get an A+, my dear. You get an A+. And if you're there doing what you're doing right now, you're supposed to be. If you're in another country, you're supposed to be. If you're having actually even the short breath, you're supposed to be having short breaths just to experience, just so you know the difference between, just so you can teach in the future the difference between a short breath and a deep breath. You know the feeling now. You know the feeling.
I do.
That's why you're here. Just share more of yourself, and let's start being more of ourselves.
Okay.
Which means lighten up, relax, start laughing, and call me again.
Will do. Thank you so much for the conversation. Definitely appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. What a great show. I have a few people in the queue. Not everybody wants to speak with me live, but that's okay. I appreciate the people that... Oh, hold on a second. I have another caller, area code 404. What's your first name? Hi, welcome to the show.
Hi, it's Trish.
Hi, Trish. Trish, what's your question?
My question is pertaining to relationships and moving forward, with someone else, but possibly knowing how to really cut the ties of a past relationship.
Okay, Trish, you know what? My studio board op is telling me that we've got to wrap the show up only because we've been on for an hour and 15 minutes. Can you either give me a call next week, Saturday at the same time, or tomorrow? I'm going to be live on the air tomorrow again. Can you do that for me, please? And I'll answer all of your questions.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got this message, and I'm actually going to lose the connection in a couple of minutes. So I need to. I took the call only because, listen, I was inspired to take the call, but I have to sign out in a couple of minutes. But I want to invite you to call back either tomorrow between 7 a.m. Pacific Pacific time, between 7 and 8 Pacific time tomorrow, or even next week. I'm live every Saturday and Sunday. Thank you so much for calling. Listen, everyone, what a great show. I don't know, we went from racism to mass murders to serial killers to happiness to soulmates to life's purpose to relationships again. And let me say this, the most important relationship in my life is my relationship with the universe and my relationship with myself, meaning when I connect and when I do have this relationship with the universe, everything else just falls into place. Everything else, there's no struggle. When the most important relationship in your life is with you, with the universe, trust me, you start. It's automatic. Listen. Are you going to have ups and downs? Are you going to have challenges? Yes, but you'll be able to navigate through all of the challenges, all of the ups and downs, with peace, with trust, with purpose, without resisting, and totally surrendering to the universe. Reality Spirituality is heard every Saturday and Sunday at 7 a.m. Thank you so much for listening. You can go to my website at RebeccaNorrington.com. Follow me on Twitter at RLNorrington. And if you like the show, go to Facebook and like Reality Spirituality on Facebook. Also, I want to remind you that you are a physical extension of the universe. You're always growing. You're always evolving. Love is patient, and love is kind. Be patient and be kind. Be your own best friend. You want to help everyone. You want to change the world. Look in that mirror and look in that mirror and change yourself. And you will change the world. You will contribute. It's not as complicated. It's not easy, but it's not that complicated as sometimes I used to believe. My favorite quote from Abraham is, "You cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey." I will connect with you tomorrow again, and you've been listening to Reality Spirituality. Call in again tomorrow.
Yeah. Oh, it's time to get real. Oh, yeah. Spirituality. It's a new experience. Reality Spirituality. Yeah, keep your ears open for this one, man. Reality Spirituality. You got a question for RLN? Reality Spirituality. Yeah, it's time to get some answers, baby. Reality Spirituality. Oh, now we getting real. Getting real.